So thank you so much for all you do. I love how you brought up variety, uncertainty as a need, but how can you maintain that in a long-term relationship since familiarity breeds contempt and it's easy to fall into a routine? Yeah, it is very, very easy to fall into a routine. And one of the things that you need to do and you need to make sure that you do is have things set, right? Schedule stuff, put things in your schedule, like every so often you're going to do this or add this kind of variety, right? Because there's a lot of different kinds of variety. Let's just take variety because you don't really need to put so there's kind of two components to this, Yasmin. The first one has to do with variety and that form of excitement. There's a whole bunch of ways that you can get that variety, and one of the ways is to like go out to different like restaurants, right? So say you have sushi night, right? I used to do sushi night with my girlfriend like 10 years ago when I was dating her, and we would do sushi Sundays. And every Sunday we would go to a different sushi restaurant somewhere around the city and just try their sushi, right? And it was a lot of fun, and it was a lot of variety, and it was different, and it was just, you're getting different needs fulfilled, right? There's a whole bunch of different ways. You can do stuff in the bedroom where you're trying different things out. You can do stuff where you just take walks to different parts of the city, or if you live in a city with some kind of public transportation, what you can do is just get on different light rails or different trains and just be like, okay, we're going to go here, and you go somewhere, right? And you have fun and you just show up somewhere and you're like, oh, let's check out the, little town here. And oh, this is a cute statue. Let's take a picture and all that kind of stuff, right? And so there's a whole bunch of different ways that you can create variety with somebody. And so what you want to do is find different, things that work for you guys in the ways that you normally seek variety, and then take that variety. Like one of the ways that I do variety is I travel all the time. Back before the beer bug came about and everybody was stuck at their homes, I was traveling all over the world, right? And even actually next month, I'm going to be flying back. I'm in Europe right now. I'm going to be flying back to the States, and I'm going to be traveling to Colorado and Wyoming and Texas and Arizona and Florida. And then I'm probably going to be flying back to a different country in Europe, right? And so I love travel, right? And it's a huge thing for my variety and excitement in my life. And so that's number one, right? That's the number one kind of way that you can do it really easily, is creating that variety through that. Another way is what you're talking about with familiarity breeding contempt is and that's I hate the law of familiarity. We all know that law of familiarity sucks. But what you can do, Yasmin, is you can change. You can what you need to do is you need to have a life that's separate from him to some extent. Right? Not totally separate. You don't want to be just completely living different lives, but you want to have it separate enough that it's exciting to hang out with you and meet up with you and talk to you and be around you. And so what you do is you create like your own identity. That's the big piece of it, is creating a separate identity. Because when you end up in a relationship together, your identity molds into one. And it's almost like you become one person. And what they found through research studies is when you break up, it's really painful usually because you've melded your identities together. And so it's painful because it feels like you're losing a piece of yourself. And so what you want to do is you want to spend some time and have kind of this like separate identity from each other already, where you are building your passions, you're doing hobbies, you're doing things that build your sense of identity. So things that you really love to do that are about you and you alone. Your guy isn't into those things. So maybe it might have to do with music. It might have to do with sports. It might have to do with, underwater basket weaving, whatever kind of hobbies or passions that you have. Maybe it's volunteering, maybe it's whatever, right? But you've got your own thing that he's not involved in. And so what that does is it creates a separation, right? And then what happens is it breaks that familiarity. And so he's, you're doing your own thing and you have your own stuff going on. And he's like, oh, I wonder what she's up to. I wonder what she's been doing. And then when you come back together, you've got all these things to talk about. And this happened and, this gossip and that stuff and, all these different things, right? So what you're doing when you do that is you're creating variety, you're creating mystery, you're creating excitement. And so those are the two main ways that you really want to build variety, excitement, mystery, all that kind of stuff. So I hope that answered your question there. Let's see. You maintain that in a long-term relationship. You're right. Exactly. Yep. Exactly.